struggle for freedom not related to Congress. India's independence struggle has always been non-violent. There were two mediums of asking for freedom. One was prayer, the other one was petition. And armed struggle, which actually believes in snatching away India's freedom through an armed means, that began with the Swadeshi movement that was followed by the non-cooperation movement by Gandhi. Swadeshi movement was because of the fact that Bengal was going to be partitioned by Lord Curzon in 1905, and that actually triggered the armed movement in India, not only in Bengal but in UP, in Punjab especially, and also in Maharashtra. So, we will discuss all three states, Bengal, Maharashtra, Punjab, separately. Now, coming to the causes of armed movement or armed struggle, it was actually started as a byproduct of the growth of militant nationalism. Nationalism, that is the national unity, the fervent of national unity, that is also divided between two parts. One is non-violent, the other one is violent or militant. And that the first phase actually, as I said, with it came with the Swadeshi movement, and the second phase which came with the non-cooperation movement and its failure with the Chauri Chaura incident will come to later. So, the second phase, as I said, with the coming of the non-cooperation movement, and after the opening of the gates of military activities, it was less problematic that these revolutionaries got support from the ordinary people, and their ideology became more popular with their activities. So, in 1905, when Bengal was said to be divided into more than two parts, it was a very much controversial issue or step taken by Lord Curzon, and against his verdict, militant nationalism came about. So, the extremists had rightly emphasized the need to go beyond the prayer and petition, advocated the need of a militant system, a militant ideology, and that had put forward with the ideas of boycott and Swadeshi. That both these ideas were there during the Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi means to accept indigenous products, indigenous system, and boycott, on the other hand, means to give up whatever is foreign. It may be the system, education system, law, it may be the products or any commodities which are foreign. So, these two streams actually prepared the ground for the emergence of the revolutionary activities not only in Bengal but also in Punjab and Maharashtra. Now, the extremists were unable to give a practical expression to these ideas, and as far as the ideological concepts are concerned, because at that point of time what was militant nationalism, it was not known to the countrymen, and that how it could be, how it could be implemented, how it could be carried forward. So, these things were not very clear by then, and they had also failed to organize the militants from all over the country. So, there was not this system of communication was so smooth, so that they could contact with the other revolutionaries or militant nationalists. So, these are the hurdles before them when they thought of organizing an armed struggle. Now, moreover, the youths of the country, and they participated actively in the Swadeshi movement, and with this hope that the independence is not very far and it will be achieved very soon. Instead of the Swadesi movement not only failed in achieving the goal of Swaraj, but also it also couldn't stop the partition of Bengal. It was revoked. The partition of Bengal was revoked 4 to 5 years later in 1911, and it was also said that it was just because of the administrative decisions and all. So the movement actually from the very beginning was not very popular because it didn't have a popular face, it didn't have an organization, it was not very well equipped. So another factor that contributed to the rise of revolutionary activities was the brutal repression of the Swadesi movement. When the Britishers repressed the movement with brutality, the revolutionary activities, the secret activities that increased manyfold because the force cannot stop spreading ideologies that we all know for sure. And the Congress even got split into two parts, the moderates and the extremists, in its 1907 session, which is called Surat session. It was organized in Surat, of course. So this was the turning point of the revolutionaries, when inside the Congress there was a demand for an armed struggle, and that was supported by the extremists who never believed in the petition, in the prayer, these parts of Congress. So that was a turning point, as I said. Now the activities, the writings, the speeches of these revolutionaries, that were very that created a very strong base for youths to join them. And it, as I said, it was not very popular, it was not very open to the countrymen, but the youths, as we can easily compare revolutionary activities with Naxalbari, because in the history we have seen that youths who are most gullible, who are most naive or most simple minded people, who can easily think of a very bright future, who cannot accept the fact that they are enslaved by foreigners. So youths were first targeted, they were first aimed at to incorporate in the armed struggle, in the militant nationalism. Many of them were said that they were purely political propaganda. It was definitely a purely political propaganda, but it had an intellectual side as well, because the most literate people, the most educated people, they supported revolutionaries, they joined revolutionaries, they also aided revolutionaries, and there were flaws in the early revolutionary ideologies, but still we can see that they actually sacrificed, they thought of sacrificing their lives for the freedom of their countrymen. So the individual heroism is another very important aspect of revolutionary activities, and there were three mediums through which these sort of heroic activism was embodied. The first was the organization, of course, the secret societies like Anushilan Samiti, Jugantar Dal in Bengal, and then the second thing was the dacoities. They used to loot trains, they used to loot the arms warehouses, and they used to perform dacoities in order to gain funds, in order to gain weapons, because they don't have weapons. There were Arms Act enacted by the Britishers, that any Indians, that actually no Indians can possess, can buy or purchase or can sell or can keep arms with them. So there was an Arms Act. So from where do they get these weapons or funds to establish an organization or to conduct an expedition? So they had no clue. So except dacoities. They looted we will discuss Kakori train loot. So the Swadesi dacoities, they used to call it Swadesi dacoities because these dacoities were not for something else. It was only for the sake of their countrymen. And the third one was the military conspiracies, and there were a lot of conspiracy cases that we'll discuss later. So these three things: one is the assassination of the unpopular British officials secretly through these secret societies, and second was Swadesi dacoities, and thirdly were these conspiracies that actually gave shape to the revolutionary activities of India. So the plan was to instill a kind of fear in the British officials' mind, so that they can fear the fact that there are conspiracies, there are organizations which are armed, which can attack us anytime. So they wanted to instill this fear, and also to some extent popular consciousness about their activities, that Bhagat Singh, when he exploded a bomb inside the parliament, and he said that it was not directed to harm anyone, but it was a kind of a shock to tell people that we are going to do this. We are kind of attract people's attention towards the revolutionary activities, so that people can be made understood what they are doing. So they began the search of the revolutionary ideology. Of course, when you are directing a movement, you need an ideology to sustain it, and revolutionary program by drawing lessons from our own history as well as the histories of the other countries. Like they also had this instance of Mazzini, and also the other from other countries, where from China, because in China there were secret societies, there were revolutionaries. So they also drew instances from other countries as well. So they did not preach social reform, as we have witnessed that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, they always talked about the reform of the society. So for the revolutionaries, the society cannot be reformed. It should be junked. The ill practices, the evil things in the society should be junked and should be recreated. So there was no question of reforming anything. So at the end of our first segment, the first question that we're going to ask is, at which conference Congress got split into the extremists and the moderates? At the start of our second segment, we will start with the answer, that is at the Surat Congress in 1907. So now we will discuss the revolutionary activities in Bengal, Maharashtra and Punjab separately. Coming to Bengal, the first revolutionary activities actually organized by an organization which was formed in 1902 in Midnapur, and it was formed by Jyotindranath Bosu, and also in Calcutta under Pramotho Mitro, and including Jyotindranath Banerjee, Barindra Kumar Ghosh and others. In April 1906, Anushilan Samiti's inner circle, that is Barindra Kumar Ghosh, Bhupendranath Datta, and they launched a weekly Jugantor Putrika. It was a journal. It was by 1905 and 6, there are a lot of newspapers and journals that started writing about the revolutionaries, because it actually aimed at the educated section of the society, so that they can understand the ideology of the revolutionaries. As I said, it's a literate movement as well. It was a movement which was for the intellectuals as well, because as I said, these writings of the newspapers and journals, and they could disseminate their ideologies, and it could reach to the educated section of the society, the wealthy section of the society, so that they can raise funds. So anything that you want to do, you need money. So that was the aim of it. And then another, a lot of journals were there. For example, Shandho was there, and Jugantor in Bengal, as I said. there was another journal called Kal in Maharashtra, and the Jugantar group also made an abortive attempt on the life of a very unpopular British official. As I said, the assassination, that was one of the most important parts of the revolutionaries, and that British official was Sir Fuller, and who was the first lieutenant governor of the new Eastern Bengal and Assam. And it was an abortive attempt, as I said, because it went in vain. He could not be killed, and there were attempts to derail the train carrying the Lieutenant Governor Sir Andrew Fraser in December 1907. Bara dacoity, coming to the another segment, that is Bara dacoity was that was founded in 1908 by Dhaka অনুশীলন Samiti. So it was led by Pulin Das in Dhaka, and also in December 1912, Rashbihari Bose and Sachin Sanyal, they both staged a bomb attack at Viceroy Hardinge, and he made his official entry into the new capital of Delhi in a procession through Chandni Chowk. Western অনুশীলন Samiti in Dhaka, so in East Bengal, and Western অনুশীলন Samiti in West Bengal. So the Western Samiti founded good leader of Jyotindranath Mukherjee, and as he was also very popularly known as Bagha Jatin, and rose to prominence as Jugantar. Now, Jatin revitalized the connections between the central organization in Calcutta and also in the Eastern Bengal, Dhaka. So, during First World War, revolutionary activities were at its peak, and they also were getting help from the educated society of Bengal, and there was a lot of ideological support coming from a different segment of the society. So, this was Bengal. Coming to our second state, that is Maharashtra, again very important state, and the first revolutionary activities in Maharashtra was the organization of Ramoshi Peasant Force by Basudev Balpant Pharke in 1879, which aimed to rid the country of the British yoke, British exploitation, and that instigating revolt by disrupting all the communication lines, starting from telegraphs and railways and all. So, second most renowned revolutionaries is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and who spread the spirit of nationalism, including use of violence, and through his two very well-known festivals, one was Ganapati Puja and Shivaji festivals, as well as his journals. He had published two journals, one is Kesari and the other one is Maratha, and both were published during 1890s. So, coming to another revolutionary of Maharashtra was Binayak Damodar Savarkar, V.D. Savarkar, and his brother Ganesh Damodar Savarkar, and they founded Abhinava Bharat Society, that is called Young India Society, in 1904. So, it was founded at Mitro Mela in Nasik, while Vinayak Savarkar was still a student of Fergusson College. The society grew to include several hundred revolutionaries and political activists at that point of time. Following the assassination of British officials, the Savarkar brothers were convicted and imprisoned. Tilak was imprisoned for a long. In 1952, the society was formally banned. It was prohibited, and later also disbanded. Madanlal Dhingra, another very important personality, is revolutionary from Maharashtra, and he assassinated Lieutenant Colonel William Curzon Wiley and the political aide-de-camp to the Secretary of State for India on the evening of 1st July 1909. And at a meeting of Indian students at the Imperial Institute of London, and Dhingra was arrested, he was tried, and later he was executed. Anant Lakshman Kanhari assassinated M.T. Jackson and the district magistrate of Nasik, and in the heroic Nasik conspiracy case that was started in 1909. Now, coming to our third state, that is Punjab. Again, very importantly, extremism in Punjab was fueled by such incidents from Bengal and Maharashtra, and it was actually started with the peasants who revolted against the increasing land revenues and the irrigation taxes, and it was also against the forced labor, which is called Begar. So, it started with the movement from a very lower caste people, lower class people. So, the most important well-known revolutionary hailed from Punjab is Lala Lajpat Rai, and who brought out Punjabi. Punjabi is a local journal which is a very revolutionary in nature. And Ajit Singh, as I said, he was Bhagat Singh's uncle who organized the extremist Anjuman-e-Mohshiban-e Watan. It was an organization, revolutionary organization in Lahore. So, with this journal, Bharat Mata, another very popular journal of those days. So, extremism in Punjab died down quickly. It did not sustain for long after the government struck in May 1907 with a ban of the political activities. So, even though government was very much keen to put ban on these revolutionary activities and organizations, they all actually went on secretly, and that is the most important feature of these organizations. They all were secret societies, all journals were banned, but later they were published, republished with some other names, under some other editors. So, that was a very interesting thing about the revolutionaries. And after this, Ajit Singh and a few others who associates Sufi Amba Prasad and Lal Chand and Bhai Paramanand, Lala Hardayal, they all developed into full-scale revolutionaries. So, the ban or prohibition couldn't suppress the revolutionary activities, be it in Bengal, be it in Maharashtra, be it in Punjab. So, at the end of our second segment, we have come to our next question, that is, who were Lal Bal Pal, popularly known as Lal Bal Pal? So, the third segment starts with the answer, that is, Lal is Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Pal is Bipin Chandra Pal. And coming to our third segment, we will discuss some of the conspiracy cases that were tried and the revolutionaries were executed, and these cases definitely aroused popular consciousness about the revolutionaries and their activities. Now, the first case is the Chapekar brothers of 1897, and three brothers actually, Damodar Chapekar, Balakrishna Chapekar and Vasudev Chapekar, who shot at WC Rand ICS, and he's chairman of the Special Plague Committee in 1897, and those days plague was so severe that it was taking hundreds of thousands of people's lives, and that is why they killed this officer, assassinated this officer, and the three were tried, and these three revolutionaries were hanged. Coming to our second conspiracy case, that is Alipur bomb conspiracy case of 1908, and it is also called Muraripukur conspiracy or Maniktala conspiracy case. And Douglas Kingsford was unpopular British chief magistrate who was the target of the bomb thrown at Muzaffarpur, which is situated in the northern Bihar. And unfortunately, the carriage at which the bomb was thrown, the target was missed. Kingsford couldn't be killed, and the revolutionaries Profullo Chaki and Khudiram Bose, they were arrested. Profullo Chaki committed suicide, and Khudiram Bose was executed. He was hanged. The next conspiracy case is the Curzon Wiley's assassination of 1909, and the India House, which was the organization in London, it was a revolutionary organization in London, involved the freedom struggle of India, mainly engaging Indian students who were studying in the United Kingdom. So, the patrons of this organization was Shyamaji Krishna Varma and Bhikaji Kama, and the organization was liquidated after the assassination of Curzon Wiley by Madan Lal Dhingra in 1909. Coming to Howrah gang case in 1910, it is also known as Howrah Shibpur conspiracy case, and in this case 47 revolutionaries associated with the Anushilan Samiti, and they all were arrested and tried on the charge of the murder of Inspector Samsul Alam. And The case brought to the light of work of the revolutionaries of Jyotindranath Mukherjee and also Narendranath Bhattacharya. They were sentenced to 1 year rigorous imprisonment. Coming to the Delhi-Lahore conspiracy case of 1912, it is also called as Delhi conspiracy case, and Lord Hardinge was assassinated. He was the Viceroy of India. The revolutionaries definitely they were led by Rajbihari Boshu, and Rajbihari Boshu at the end of this case he fled to Singapore, and since then he lived for 15 years over there. And also Subhash Chandra Bose was also involved in this case, and he also escaped from his home. So, the very popular case was Kakori conspiracy. I was talking about Kakori in 1925. It was a robbery of a train which was carrying arms, and the revolutionaries included Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan, Chandrasekhar Azad, Rajendra Lahiri, Thakur Roshan Singh and others. They all were mostly the members of the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, and they looted the train for the weapons. The Chittagong Armory raid of 1930, again it was led by Surya Sen, with this very interesting case, and there was not only Surya Sen, the others were also involved. For example, Ganesh Ghosh, Loknath Bal, Pritilata Wadedar, Kalpana Dotto, Umbika Chakraborty, Subodh Roy, etc. And Sen hoisted India's flag at the police armory as well, and many of the revolutionaries involved escaped, but some were also caught and tried. The government came down heavily on the revolutionaries. There was brutal repression of the revolutionaries, and they were tortured in the jail, and sometimes they were killed in the jails. So, the last case which should be discussed is the Lahore conspiracy case of 1931, and before that Central Assembly bomb case of 1929, that is Bhagat Singh. You should remember his name, and revolutionaries Bhagat Singh and Botukeshwar Datto, both of them, they sought to draw attention to the revolution by throwing a bomb in the Assembly House in Delhi. So, they did not attempt to escape, but they were arrested and jailed for the act. And after that, Bhagat Singh was re-arrested in connection with the murder of British police officer Saunders, and this case was called the Lahore conspiracy case. So, there were other involved in this case, like Shukdev was there, and Rajguru, and also Chandrasekhar Azad, and they were all members of Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, as I said. And while in prison, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Shukdev along with other political prisoners, they went on a fast. They were demanding proper facilities for the political prisoners, and they demanded newspaper, they demanded good food, and they demanded access of the libraries. And after the trial, all three were sentenced and executed by hanging in March 1931. Azad was martyred the same year in February in a gun battle with the police. And the last question that can be asked is, can we call the extremists as terrorists? Because in many books we will find that they have been termed as terrorists, quote unquote. So, the answer is definitely no, because we should call them as revolutionaries who believed in armed struggle. They were not terrorists. There was no aim to terrorize people, but to tell people that independence, that freedom of India can be thought of as coming through this means of armed battle. So, with this note, we will conclude our lecture. Thank you very much.